So yeah, today I'm going to talk a little bit about this revolution happening now within the development of digital solutions. How you can accelerate your innovation without compromising the quality or the flexibility. And how you can start using these tools to innovate just in a couple of weeks instead of 6, 8, 10 months. But before I want to talk about how and when you should do it, I think it's really important to understand what it is and why it is here now. Like just earlier this morning when I had breakfast, I couldn't really decide if I wanted bread or cereal. And it's no different when it comes to business. We are human, we overthink, we overanalyze, we overdesign, we overcomplicate everything. And when it comes to digital solutions, we do this before the user is involved, before we implement the product. Wouldn't it be much better if we spend this time after the user gets in the process? So he or she can give input, give feedback, then you can do the redesign, then you can do the iterations and refine your ideas. That is one of the issues that we addresses with our no-code platform. And what it is, no-code, low-code, citizen development, it has many different names. But in essence, it's a platform, a tool where you can create tailored, customized software without coding. And you do it much faster than the traditional way. And we have built this platform, and we're not alone. There's a lot of them coming up now, no-code, low-code platforms. Why should you learn about this? Why is it important that you understand what it is? I think it really is connected to why you are all here today. There's a huge need of digitalization in the industries, in businesses. And I don't think there's any indication that there will be any less in the future. Quite the opposite. So then the question is, can we deliver on this demand with traditional methods that we rely on today? I think there's two reasons why that might be challenging. If we look at the big picture, how many can actual programming? How many can code? And are we able to educate enough people to fill this need? To be able to have enough developers making all the solutions that we might need? I think if everyone, or if someone here has experienced the process of trying to hire IT competence, it's quite hard. It's a tough market. And a second thing is, it's a complex problem to be able to develop and get a modern, high-quality software. It requires that you have a specialized team. They need competence with what they do. You need to make good decisions. You may understand a lot of different programming languages. You need to understand the frameworks. All of this requires a lot of resources. And you have to invest in the team. And the result of this is it takes a long time before it gets implemented. In some cases, it might take too much time. Too much time that you're willing to accept. Maybe it's too expensive for you. We don't have the resources. We don't have the capacity yet to innovate the process that might really need it, that you could really benefit from. So what can we do about this? Well, we believe by turning the perspective a little bit around there, starting to shift away from the traditional methods that we have used to until now, and start trying to use these tools which makes it faster, easier, but without compromising the quality or flexibility to make these software solutions. That's what we're trying to do at Appfarm and other no-code, low-code tools. But how does it actually work in the real life? It's basically to abstract and simplify what today needs specialized expertise. And we do this by visually making it much easier to understand and wrap it in these building blocks. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. How many programmers has made a login screen, a button? If we use that and take that approach, we can start really make something great here. And this approach is not something new. We've used this for a long time with website builders. But what is new is that we now can use it for more dynamic, complex business applications, which requires more advanced logics. And this is usually then just managed by one person. One person can have control of the whole application. So you get a smaller teams, you get faster iterations, and you get to do it in real environments, real cases, real feedback. Not stuck with the prototypes. And it's much easier as well because you don't need to be a developer to use these tools. You can be a designer, you can be a business developer. You can be much closer to the actual problem that you're trying to solve. You can maybe really understand the process that you're trying to digitalize, and you can be a part of the team. It's a much improved collaboration among the involved persons. And secondly, it just works. You shouldn't worry about the technology. You shouldn't worry about the frameworks being outdated or something not secure enough. That's our job. Your job is to solve your problem. In other words, we remove the technical depth element for you in the future. And I think a lot of you are a bit skeptical to this new thing. Is it as good as it seems? Can this replace all the critical processes I have in my company without no limitations? We don't really need any developers anymore? No, I can try to clarify a little bit here, because until recently, it's been two choices when trying to solve digital needs. You could either buy a specialized product, standardized product, or you can try to make it yourself. If you have a problem that can be solved by one of these off-the-shelf tools, that's probably the right choice for you. And when it comes to development, like our platform, Appfarm, is built by developers. We need the best developers to be able to deliver the technology. And there's many more examples of that. So they will, of course, be here forever. But there's a huge area in between here for no-code local solutions. Internal processes in businesses, which are very close to an off-the-shelf product, but you want to specialize it to your needs, your problems. And that's where low-code, no-code comes in. Gartner predicts that by 2025, 70% of all business applications will be built by low-code, no-code tools. Since 2018, we have worked with some Norwegian companies exploring these opportunities. You might recognize some of the companies here, but what I want you to understand from this slide is that there's both large players here, small, medium-sized players, but most importantly, it's independent from any industry. Everyone needs to digitize. One of our earlier customers, Bertel Steen, is a company that inspects and keeps control of 40 to 50,000 vehicles per year. They started with one process, digitalizing this, and now they're one of our biggest customers. Unfortunately, they couldn't come here today, but I did a small interview with one of the people who has been involved in this project. So let's hear what he has to say.
All right, thank you so much for doing this interview, Benjamin. Maybe you can start just telling a little bit about yourself and Bertel Steen.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm Benjamin Arstad Nygaard, working at Bertel Steen Logistics. Bertel Steen is one of the oldest car importers in Norway, and also the second biggest. And we're having brands, I think 11, 12 brands by now, including Peugeot, Citroën, Opel, Mercedes, Jeep, Alfa, etc. And well, there's many different tasks to do in our business, as importing cars, damage claims, custom clearances, planning transport, etc.
All right, so can you try to summarize what's the issue, or which process did you see that, okay, here is a possibility for us to make some improvements and digitalization?
Well, it started with us wanting to get a hold of the transport, or what to call it, when a car is delivered to the dealer. We needed to know exactly when and have a confirmation on when it was delivered. So that was the original problem, and over the years it has evolved to several others and other great ideas to use Appfarm for.
And can you try to tell me a little about why you chose the no-code technology and what that has meant for you?
I've been using it for a few years now, and I think it's a really good platform for the freedom and simpleness it offers. So we're able to make well, the smallest problems, fix them in the app ourselves, and even when we're a little bit better in no code, we can do bigger things in the app ourselves, as well as we get support from Appfarm employees when we're stuck. So it's simple and easy to do stuff, basically.
Okay, let's do a short demo of the application. We can start with the mobile application,
Yep.
and just talk us through the process.
Yeah, this app is, as I said, used to receive vehicles, and the dealer scans QR code in the window of the cars or type the chassis number to receive the information of the car. In this case, it's scanned and they receive it from our system. All the info about the module, chassis number, etc. And then they have to upload images of the car, 4 images, one from each side of the car. So we'll have a full documentation of the state of the car when it arrived at the dealer. They also have the opportunity to register damage if they want to, or go on without registering a damage. They have to choose which part of the car is damaged and mark it, and also take images of this of the damage, and make a small description of what the damage actually are.
Perfect. So now the all the data and information about this damage are being sent to the admin application, right?
Yes, that's correct. And maybe we should look at on that application as well. This is the part where I work usually. I receive a damage, and every info and images they have uploaded. I can chat with the dealer if I have any questions or problems by the info they sent in. I can view the images in full detail and zoom and download and everything, and also add in estimated costs, who's responsible for the damage, and so on. And I can send the claim to our transporter if needed. I can also accept or deny the claim from the dealer, and they get the invoice information when I do so.
Okay, so that was a short demo of one of your processes that you have applied the no-code technology to. But I think you have a lot more application by this date, right?
Yeah, that's correct. By now we have a sales tool, we have a survey app, we have a delivery instruction app, and so on. And we have a lot of ideas to make many more. So it's been really good to use this kind of platform.
And I don't remember when we delivered the first product to you, but now you have started to take over the development by yourself, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I think like half a year ago, I started using Appfarm Create and started to watch the first tutoring videos. It's a low threshold to be able to make small changes yourselves. And by now, I think I can do a bit bigger problems and make some bigger changes in the app myself. but I see in the future it should be possible for me to make almost the complete app myself, and with good help from Appfarm, I'm surely able to make a professional looking app.
Of course, we're always here. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best with the future of your no-code projects.
Thank you.
So that was an example of how one company has used the no-code technology. There are many ways to do it, and I think one thing that will be very crucial for not only us but a lot of low-code no-code provider is to use partners, the partner network, because they know their domain, they have expertise, they have experience, and if they have a toolbox with a lot of different tools, they can really start creating high-value applications for companies. And with me here, I have Jérémy from Control C, and he is one of our partners, and he will tell a little bit about how and when you should consider going for low-code.
Well, thanks. Good morning, everybody. Just before digging into the subject, I just want to present very quickly Control C. So we are a Luxembourg-based company. We are the first on our market to really focus on low and no-code technologies, meaning that we are mainly doing low no-code projects. We started more or less 2 years ago, grew up from 2 to 7. We had a lot of projects, current projects, and a lot of going on. So that's a very exciting journey. Also, we are platform agnostic, meaning that we are using Appfarm. We are using also other tools, other low no-code platforms, and really depending on the project and of the topics, will position one or other platform, and we are always looking for new, let's say, what's happening on the market, because it's a moving fast market. And most of our project is to develop web application for internal use, meaning small CRM, small ERP system, or modules that are plugged onto existing ERP systems. So first question I wanna explain you is how we position low and no code. So it's a little bit the same as what Øyvind presented earlier, but we did it in another, let's say, way, by explaining and comparing that with boats and toys. So basically, when you want to solve a business needs, and when it comes to making the choice, you have, let's say, two options. On the left, you can buy a generic solution that is out of the shelves. You know exactly what it's gonna do. You know the price you're gonna pay for it, and it's exactly for the same for this boat. You go to the store, you take it, you can just put it on the water, and hopefully it's not gonna sink. Okay. On the right, you have the total opposite. It's someone who's gonna, cut all the pieces of wood, assemble them, paint the boat. It's gonna take time. For custom development, it means that it's gonna cost a lot, and that are, let's say, the two traditional approaches. What we try to solve with low no code is somewhere in between. It means that we propose a set of Lego, and you can build the boat much quicker than if you do it in a traditional way. But what is nice with Lego, I'm a huge fan of Lego, and that's why I'm always showing that slide, is that you can build something, but you can, if you have a huge set of Lego, you can build something, you can build a lot of different models, but you can also take some part of it and plug onto another model. So you are very flexible in the way you are playing with the Lego. This is the exact same approach with low and no code technologies. But one important question is, when should we apply low and no code? Because technically you can build anything you want. I mean, you have no limits, but I don't think that's a good idea to start building everything in low no code. Okay, maybe I'm not, no, it's maybe it's not good for our business, but it's an advice that we are telling our customer and our prospect. First of all is First rule is don't reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of existing tools. If you have standard needs, if you have standard processes, then there are already a lot of tools available out of the shelves. Just take one, use one. Doesn't make sense to start rebuilding what's already existing on the market. The second rule is connect to third-party services. Sometimes you need to deal to very specific tasks. I'm taking the example here of OCR, so optical character recognition. For example, this piece of task, we are not doing that into one of our tools. We are just using existing tools, existing services that are on the market. And for example, with OCR, you just send a PDF and you get the information back. And because you don't have the volume to do the AI model and so on, those services are working quite well. So it doesn't make sense to start doing it again. Third point is pay attention to security and performance constraints. It doesn't mean that low no-code platforms are not secure or not performant enough. It just means that if you, for example, I remember the presentation of yesterday about data flow for Deutsche Bahn. Those kinds of projects are really, you have some huge constraints about performance. So it doesn't make sense to start using those kinds of technology to do those projects. And last point is that low and no code platforms are not tools that allows you to generate code. Okay, it's not the case for most of the platform, meaning that you don't have access to the code itself. Okay, so it means that you cannot just use the platform for a couple of months building your own stuff, take the code out and run it on your own server. It doesn't work that way for most of the platform that we are using. How are we applying it at customers? Well, the first step is to smart small, meaning that we go for a short audit. We try to have a look at all the different processes and where we can use low no code for very specific and very small projects. Then second step is to do a proof of concept, very small mission of a couple of days. Sometimes it's only 5 days, where we can really prove that the approach of low no code can fit into the company. We also try to really define all the different projects and define a return on investment, meaning that, for example, we're gonna do all those different processes in the low or no code platform, and by doing so you will have some gain in terms of times and so in terms of money as well. So it allows us to position and try to figure out which projects are suitable for this approach. Then we implement, of course, so meaning that we are developing. What's important here is to understand that we are, I guess as many companies here, working in a more agile way, meaning that we are really doing the development side by side with the customer. We have something like a 2 weeks cycle. It's also important for the customers because in terms of adoptions, they really feel like they are building their tool with you. So it means that when we reach the end of the project, it's their tool, it's their baby. So of course they will adopt it because they built it with you. And fourth point is that we are letting the customer in control, just like the interview that we had earlier. The customer has the control over the development because it's quite easy to learn. The learning curve is very is really high, so people can get can start working on the platform and make some small adjustments. Sometimes it's very simple stuff like moving a button from one place to another, but it's just drag and dropping. It's a 2-second step that they don't need to reach us for doing that. I have a couple of examples, but feel free then to reach the round table if you want. I don't know if you still have time, but couple of examples that apps we've built, not only on Appfarm, but those kinds of projects are very small projects. This one is something that we've built in 12 days for a small company of 20 people. So these are a very small customer, And it's actually a very simple planning application where people can actually see what's going on in their planning. If everything is ready, you see some small icons here that are green or red. So it's actually something we transfer something that they did on Excel into a web application, and we also created a data acquisition form that allows them to, on the field, take pictures, highlight some problems, and make the client sign at the end, so we can generate PDF and send them automatically by mail. Also another planning project that we did, we saw that planning is something very specific to each company, so that's why we are doing a lot of planning projects. There is no, let's say, planning out of the shelf software that is really doing what those companies can want to do. So we are building a lot of different planning. This one is for truck drivers, so they have their missions directly on their phone, and they can start, they can end the missions, they can take pictures, they can also get the information back into the ERP system to do the invoicing stuff, for example, numbers of kilometers or different stuff that were collected on the field. We are doing some OCR on invoice line. That's very important because a lot of tools are doing OCR at the header level. Here we are really going into one by line, getting the information, the exact information that we want, and then we can trigger a workflow, a validation workflow, for example, because you know that line, well, you don't have that information in your stock, so it means that you are getting invoice of something you didn't receive. Okay, so that is replacing manual process of someone really checking line by line on each line. This one is a nice one as well. We work for the Cannes Festival. It's a very small marketplace for sponsors, so we are talking here about 10 end users, something that was built in 5 days, just to solve a very tiny process, but it's actually making them quite happy because they're sharing some assets during the festival. So yeah, we have other example. If you want to see, we can go to the booth outside the room. I don't know if you have something to
no,
add.
I think that covers what we wanted to discuss. Just some final words here. The essence of no code, low code is that you can much faster launch this digital solution, and then on the terms for the users and the business. And I think it's no secret that no code, low code is here to stay. This will be a huge part of the future. So I really recommend you to start getting these collaborations with companies such as Control C or other players that know their domain, are good at solving innovation problems, know how to work within the fields, and they have this toolbox with these tools that they can use to do it fast and easy. So yeah, that's what we wanted to share with you today.